are an integral part of this company, and we deserve to be treated as such. The days of slavery and serfdom are over. These are not our lords and masters. We are the legs upon which this company stands. And where would Vitor Pharmaceuticals be without its legs? I'll tell you where. On its hands and knees. This strike will show them that we are not going to be bullied or pushed around. We'll get our demands, even if, as union president, I have to go to Mr. High and Mighty Charles Murtaugh himself in order to make myself understood. Are you with me?
Jerk! No money! No jerk! No money! No jerk! No money! No jerk!
There seems to be a bitter disagreement on both sides with no apparent end in sight. There has been no response by management to the strike, and no one has received... Do you feel the strike will last?
Well, I couldn't really say. We'll strike as long as we can. We're prepared to be here day and night to fight.
Excuse me, apparently we have a news story. Hello, what's your name, sir? And why have you decided to break ranks with your fellow workers?
My name's not important, and if you really must know, I'm not breaking ranks with the union. I hope they get whatever they want. It's not what I want.
Can't your crossing the picket line be construed as siding with management?
Look, I'm not in league with anybody. People can take my behavior any way they want. I can't do anything about that. I'm late for work. You'll have to excuse me.
The first person brave or foolish enough to cross union lines. But this only opens a whole new set of questions, namely in which camp do Mr. Fitzroy's loyalties actually lie, and how long will it be until others follow his example? Reporting from Toronto for CBC News.
They're making him out to be some sort of hero. This bastard is going to ruin the whole thing. I thought you told me that we had no dissenting members.
That's what I thought, Curly. All the ballots were in favor of the strike. He mustn't have voted.
Well, I think you better pay him a visit tomorrow and set him straight. You know, make up his mind.
He sounded pretty decided to me. What if he won't listen?
Then threaten him. If he has a wife and kids, threaten them. Just do whatever it takes to convince him.
I'm not going to intimidate him.
You'll do what you're told! What do you think this is, Lopez? Some kind of game?
You're the local representative for the union, for God's sake. The people we represent have got families to support. They depend on us to do everything we can to get them the best deal. Have you forgotten that?
No.
Or do you actually think what this Walt guy is doing is okay, crossing the picket line?
No.
Good.
You've got to learn when to give a little bit. Because if you're always pushing, you're either going to break their backs or they'll learn how to push back. You've got to make them think they've got something big from you, when really all you've given them is some piddly little concession you don't give a damn about. Darcy, are you listening to me? You've got to know this if you're going to run things when I retire.
But I've heard all this about 1,000,000 times before. Why don't you ever let me do something?
Because you're not ready.
I'm telling you, I am ready. Let me do something. Give me a chance to prove.
All right, then. You've heard about this little strike going on at one of my companies? We'll see how you handle that. If you do a good job, maybe then I'll give you more responsibility.
You won't be disappointed. I'll have that guy eating out of my hand and the rest of them blowing the company horn before you know it.
You just handle the strike and everything else will take care of itself.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That good-for-nothing toad doesn't care about anybody but himself.
I never trusted him anyway. He was always, too polite, too nice.
Plus, he never does anything with anybody. I've never seen him come in here for a drink. Have you guys?
No.
See? That should have told us something right there. He's probably been one of those management stooges all along.
Come on now, Walt never said anything about being pro-management. In fact, he said he hoped we would get everything we were striking for.
So, you think Walt's right, eh?
No, I never said that.
Sure you did. We all heard you, right?
Or maybe we just misheard you. Maybe you actually said that Walt's in management's pocket.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if he wasn't, he'd be out on the lines with us. Right, guys?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Make sure you don't forget it.
Look, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told all the other reporters. I'm not interested. Leave me alone. I'm not the story, so I have nothing to say to you.
But I'm not a reporter, Mr. Fitzroy. My name is Janice Lopek. I'm your local union representative.
Well, then I think I've got even less to say to you.
No, I think you're wrong. I believe you owe me and the rest of your union an explanation.
Well, I guess I do. Please come in, Miss Lopek. I guess if I had explained myself before all this happened, then this whole situation could have been averted.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. Well, I work for the research department at Vitor Pharmaceuticals, specifically heart medicine. That means that there's a lot of people out there who are depending on me doing my job, and I just can't shirk that responsibility.
What about your responsibility to your union?
My responsibility to the union? What does that mean? So they can get 25 more cents an hour? So I can paint picket signs? Don't get me wrong. I mean, I believe in the union, but the union's going to do just fine without me. I mean, they'll get something whether I'm striking or not. But those cardiac patients need me much more urgently than you or the union does.
And you're not in bed with management?
I haven't even kissed them goodnight.
You realize everyone thinks you're in their pocket.
Well, I've come to understand that. But I can assure you, there's no lint on me. Couldn't you talk to Curly Tate and sort of work things out? I mean, I'm sure this whole mess could be straightened out if you just talked to him. And...
You obviously don't know Curly. But okay, I'll see what I can do. I just have to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to do much good.
Why not? I thought you believed me.
I do. I mean, I think you're misguided in not supporting your union, but I respect you for your decision. I respect your reasons. Unfortunately, Curly comes from the old school. He plays hardball, and I'm afraid he's made up his mind with you.
So you're telling me to watch my back?
That would be wise. I don't mean to threaten you, Mr. Fitzroy, but you are swimming in some pretty dangerous water by jumping off the HMS Union. There are sharks out there ready to bite.
Well, thanks. Thanks for the warning and the concern. I'll keep my eyes open.
Good. I'm off to Union headquarters now. I'll be sure to talk to Curly about what you said. I'll let you know.
Thanks again, Miss Lopek.
You're welcome. I mean, it's my job. I represent you. See you later.
Bye. Just a minute. Yes, can I help you?
Well, actually, Mr. Fitzroy, I was hoping we could help each other. I'm Darcy Kilmartin, Mr. Murtaugh's personal assistant. May I come in?
And what does Mr. Murtaugh want with me?
Well, I saw you on the news last night, and you struck me as a professional, confident individual who, by his actions, indicates that he's much more intelligent than his union colleagues.
You still haven't explained to me what Mr. Murtaugh wants, Ms. Kilmartin.
Well, let's just put it this way. You've already demonstrated your commitment to the company by your actions. I was hoping that perhaps you could mirror it with words.
You want me to toot the company's horn?
Exactly. You see, you become somewhat of a minor celebrity overnight. People will listen to what you have to say.
And without the public support, the union will face desertions and crumble or have to negotiate from a weaker position.
I see we understand each other.
No, we don't understand each other at all, Ms. Kilmartin. If you saw me on the news the other day, as you say, then you're aware of the fact that I won't align myself with any faction.
Of course, you will be rewarded for your loyalty to the company. A promotion. A raise in pay. A car. Whatever you want. What do you want?
To be left alone, Ms. Kilmartin. You can't buy me. I won't be anybody's stooge. Yours, Murtaugh's, or anyone else's. I just want to be allowed to do my job.
Well, that's a job that you might have not much longer, Mr. Fitzroy.
Is that a threat?
I haven't even gotten around to threatening you yet.
Well, let me save you the time and trouble, Ms. Kilmartin. Why don't you just go back to Mr. Murtaugh and tell him that he's wasting his time? I can't be bought.
This has nothing to do with Mr. Murtaugh. I'm in charge here, and this is between you and me.
Well, then I think that makes it even clearer, Miss. I think it's time that you left. I don't think we have anything else to say to each other.
Oh.
Good day.
You'll regret this, Fitzroy.
Probably.
Well, is he going to toe the line or what?
Well, no.
What? Why the hell not?
He's an idealist.
What the hell does that mean?
One who lives by high standards or principles?
I know what the goddamn word means. What does it mean in this case?
It means he's a dedicated individual who's more concerned about saving the lives of those who depend on him than he is of his own or ours.
Did you try to buy his cooperation?
No, it wouldn't work. He doesn't think the same way we do.
How about threatening him? Did you do that?
Sort of.
Sort of? What does that mean?
It means I told him what you might do if he didn't support the union.
And?
And nothing. I told you. He doesn't think the same way we do. His motivations are completely different from ours.
Jesus. We have a martyr on our hands. All right, then. He's had his warning. Fusco, Gellert, I want you to pay our friend Walt a visit. Maybe a little force applied to the right places might convince Mr. Fitzroy where words do not.
You can't do that.
Oh, no? Just watch me. Okay?
Face it, he only cares about himself. What else can you say about someone who shows no loyalty to his union?
But isn't he showing his support for management by crossing the picket lines?
Hardly. If he felt that way, he'd come out and say it. The truth is that Walt Fitzroy is viewed as a Judas by his union and a scab by management. He has the respect of no one and the disdain of all.
So, now we can add Darcy Kilmartin's surprising condemnation on behalf of Vitor's management to the howls of denunciation heaped upon him by his union. Fitzroy has gone from the man that everyone wants to the man that nobody wants. Chris Sanders, CRTA, Toronto.
You have a lot to learn about negotiating.
Face it, he only cares about himself. What else can you say about someone who shows no loyalty to his union?
But isn't he showing his support for management by crossing the picket lines?
Hardly. If he felt that way, he'd come out and say it. The truth is that Walt Fitzroy is viewed as a Judas by his union and a scab by management. He has the respect of no one and the disdain of all.
So, now we can add Darcy Kilmartin's surprising condemnation on behalf of Vitor's management to the howls of denunciation heaped upon him by his union. Fitzroy has gone from the man that everyone wants to the man that nobody wants.
And while the vilification of Walt Fitzroy continues in union and management circles, the mood on the street is quite different.
Well, you know, I think Walt's a real hero. I mean, he's standing up for all of us regular folks who get pushed around all the time. What can I say? He's an inspiration to everybody. Like Walt says, I'm not gonna take it anymore.
Fritz. Yeah, I think this Fritz guy's okay. I've had a heart problem for close to 10 years now, and I've always bought my medicine from Vitor. But not anymore. Not until they do right by Fritz. And let me tell you, I've got a lot of friends that do the same.
Actually, I've begun a petition with some of my co-workers and neighbors. None of us are going to buy products from Vitor or any other company owned by Murdoch, unless Walt is given a fair shake and this whole strike thing is over. We care about Walt because he cares about us.
So there seems to be a huge groundswell of support building for Walt Fitzroy, a man who until 2 days ago was unknown. And the big loser here could turn out to be Murtaugh Industries. Reports indicate that overnight sales have slipped drastically due to the consumer ban, and the Dow Jones reports a huge drop in the price of Murtaugh shares as well. What do you think, Wendy?
I agree with that last woman, Peter. I think Walt really does care. And now here's Jeff with the weather.
Thanks, Wendy. Checking the local weather map for today.
I can't believe this guy. He's become a bigger hero than ever. They're supposed to hate him. I hate him. Management hates him. The union hates him. But they love him. Well, he's not going to get away with it. I won't let him.
What about the union, boss?
Huh? Screw the union. This is bigger than the union. This is between me and Fitz.
Don't you think you're taking things a little too far with this guy, boss?
Now you listen to me. Fitzroy's made me look like a laughingstock in front of Murtaugh. And he's not going to get away with it. I'm through playing around. He's going to find out what happens when you mess with Darcy Kilmartin. If he won't bend, let's see if he'll break. Come on, boys. I think we should pay Mr. Fitzroy a little visit.
Maybe you ought to stay here, boss. You don't want to be too involved.
I'm going there. I want to see him begging me to make a deal. Okay, boys, let's go.
I don't care if you're all right. You gotta keep your mouth shut, or Fusco and Gullet will shut it for you.
I'm tired of keeping my mouth shut, and I'm tired of being pushed around by those two. They don't scare me anymore.
Keep your voice down, for God's sake. Everybody will hear you.
Good. Let him hear. It's about time you guys started cleaning the wax out of your ears and started listening to what's being said around here. If Walt is in with the suits, why is management calling him a scab?
Well, maybe it's just a ploy to get close to us. You know, Fusco and Gullet say.
Screw Fusco and Gullet. What do you say? What? I want to know why you think Walt's a traitor. And I'm going to sit here and let you all try to convince me. And then I'm going to tell you why I think he's okay. And why it's Curly Tate and the testosterone twins that are the ones you should be really wondering about.
You can't keep me here against my will.
Sure I can. There's a whole room full of people outside that door that'll do anything I tell them. You're not going anywhere.
That's only because they're afraid of you. Doesn't it bother you that they don't respect you?
Well, fear's a form of respect, and an effective one.
No, no, it's not. Can't you see what you've done here? You've taken the whole idea of what a union is supposed to be and twisted it into some sort of perverted kingdom and made yourself out to be its absolute ruler. You don't give a shit about the people you claim to represent. If you did, you'd treat them with a little bit more respect.
That's some speech, Lopek. I guess some of Walt's high-minded notions and ideals must have rubbed off on you. But it's going to do you as much good as it's probably doing him right now. Oh, yeah.
What a day. Look at that.
You had to push me, didn't you, Fitzroy? You had to see how much you could get away with.
What are you talking about? I didn't force you to do anything.
Yes, yes you did. Only you're too blind or too noble or just too fucking stupid to realize it. Who do you think you're dealing with here? Do you think I'm just some silly little girl they sent in to tidy things up?
No.
Well, listen, I tried to spare you from this. Why didn't you listen to me?
You what? Tried to spare me? You didn't do anything at all. I did listen to you. You're the one who didn't listen. I told you I couldn't do what you asked me and live with myself.
Well, living with yourself is something you're not going to have to worry about much longer unless you cooperate right now. You remember I told you you'd regret your decision, Mr. Fitzroy? Carbone? Hinkle?
Hey! Hey, what are you guys doing? Don't you guys...
Fitzroy!
What in God's name? That's enough. Get out! Is this how you handle a strike? Threatening people, destroying apartments, and going ballistic on national television? What the hell do you think this is accomplishing?
I was just...
Will you just shut up? Shut up and listen for once. All you had to do was come in here and quietly settle the strike with the union. Instead, you start some sort of personal vendetta with somebody who doesn't really matter one way or the other. All you've done is cost me millions on the stock market, undermined the public's faith in Murtaugh products, and put me in a weak bargaining position. You haven't heard one word I've said, have you, for the last 5 years about how to handle people or power? I'm very disappointed in you. But I'm gonna have to deal with you later. Right now, I'm gonna have to handle things personally around here. I've gotta plug this hole quickly before the whole ship sinks. All right, let's go.
Get out of those chairs. We need to sit down. Didn't you hear me? Get out of those chairs.
What's going on?
Listen, we've discussed things amongst ourselves, and we've decided we're just not gonna take your crap anymore.
Son, look, we've been talking, we've decided Walt ain't in nobody's pocket. He needs to stand up for himself and do what he thinks is right. Something we should have done a long time ago.
Anyway, we're gonna make up for that now. We've already drafted up a petition calling for your expulsion from the union, and Curly's too.
All right then. I think that's the last item on the agenda. If everything seems amenable to you, I'll have my lawyers draft up the papers, and I'll send them over tomorrow.
Well, I still have to put it before the union, but I'm sure we can accept those terms.
You do realize that this whole thing is contingent upon the union expelling Walt.
Wait, what? Why can't you do that?
After all, Walt has no loyalty, and that's what this union is all about. Of course, if he's not union, he could be fired rather easily.
Yes, a few years down the road when no one remembers who he is, or even cares. I think we understand each other. We'll be taking our leave. Darcy?
I can't believe you're gonna do this. You can't fire Walt. He's the only innocent person in all of this.
Well, if you've got such a problem with it, you could always join him.
I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but you're right. I quit.
Well, say goodbye to your boyfriend for me.
This is all gonna blow up in your face.
Oh, yeah, right!
Oh,
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I can't say so much for my place, though, or your two big union friends.
I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. You've been kicked out of the union.
I know. Oh, Curly Tate called just before you got here. I guess he didn't want you to spoil his fun.
You don't seem to be too upset about it.
I knew I'd be fired when I crossed the picket line. It was something I was prepared to live with.
I quit my job.
I hope you didn't do it over me.
Well, you certainly played a part in it. It just came to the point where I couldn't look at myself in the mirror anymore. I didn't like what I saw. Does that make any sense?
Makes perfect sense. There'll be other jobs. In the meantime, at least we'll be able to live with ourselves.
Boss? There's, some people here to see us.
Tell them to get lost. I'm not seeing anybody tonight.
Oh, I think you'll see us.
What's going on?
A lot. I think you better sit down for this.
Barishny beverage, for any occasion.
Barishny beverage!
For any situation.
Barishny beverage?
For any intimate relation.
Barishny beverage?
Barishny beverage, from Russia with love.
Art.
Dance. Theater.
Artbeat.
Music.
Fashion. Drama.
Lifestyle.
Flat. The Arts Channel.
Hi, and welcome to Artbeat. I'm Linda O'Connor, and this week on our show, we're going to update you on Toronto's art scene. We're going to start that off by highlighting a very talented singer. Her name is Joanne Sansuna, and we'll meet her in just a moment. But first, let's check with our roving Artscast anchor, Mitch Altman. Mitch?
Thank you, Linda. We're on Shooter Street today in front of Massey Hall for this week's edition of the Artscast. Young artists leaving college often struggle to make a name for themselves. They sometimes even start their own business. But as Artbeat's Scott Simpson reports, sometimes that business isn't enough to make them quit their day jobs.
It's not just another day at the office for Adam Weinblum. He's one of 4 founding artists at Bleach Studio in Toronto. Adam and 3 other recent graduates from Ontario College of Art got together to pool their talents under one company.
We set it up in about 3 months. And some people said, you know, that's great, that we have the motivation. Other people said that we're fools.
Adam tries to juggle his full-time job at an art supply store while working on various projects at Bleach. His partners face the same dilemma.
We never thought that being an artist or a commercial artist or an editorial artist would be almost like being a rock star, where you have to carry a day job, crawl out at night to do your work that you really love, do that until about 6 or 7 in the morning, and then get an hour's nap and then crawl back to your day job, and then the whole cycle just continues itself all the time.
Adam says everyone knows each other from college. Their styles are at the same time similar yet unique. So far, they're getting along well personally and professionally.
We still get along. We're not at each other's throats yet. On a business level, things are separating a little bit. We're very different yet almost exactly the same. Roberta is on the more childlike end of it. She's doing a series of chickens now.
The young artists of Bleach see a bright future ahead. According to Adam, there are big changes coming in the art world.
Because people are sick of the same old realistic picture. Now people want distortion. They want things that are beautifully ugly, I guess, is the way to describe it. And I think we all deliver that right on, because that's what we're all about.
Well, work continues at Bleach Studio, but for Adam, it's back to his day job. If you want to hire one of these young professionals, you can call them at 504-3776. From Queen and Spadina, I'm Scott Simpson for Artbeat.
Fans are still wondering why the band Lowest of the Low broke up. Recent reports in the Toronto Star say that the band's indie label, LSD, was behind the breakup. The band reportedly expected to have more creative control with a small label, but instead were being constrained by the business concerns of a small company. This, along with the group's rigorous touring schedule, led to the breakup. Band member Ron Hawkins claims the split was amicable. For now, Hawkins is recording some of his own material. The controversy over the shocking CBC documentary, The Trouble with Evan, continues. An Ontario Divisional Court has agreed to hear an appeal by the CBC. The broadcaster is asking that the screening of the documentary be allowed to continue unedited. The program, aired on the Fifth Estate last February, showed an 11-year-old being verbally abused by his family. A heated debate was sparked over the family's right to privacy. Injunctions were obtained by the Children's Aid Society prohibiting further broadcasting of the documentary. If you ever thought art and technology were incompatible, think again. One Toronto artist has developed a video conferencing device which he calls Art. And with more on that story, here's Artbeat's Kate Tavender.
You've probably heard about video conferencing. It's an amazing new technology usually used by business to allow people in different locations to communicate through TV screens. But what you probably don't know is that video conferencing may also be considered art. At least it is to local artist Graham Smith. He has created his own video conferencing installation, which he considers a form of artistic expression.
Video conferencing came out of a corporate environment, and just as the telephone was a business tool in the beginning, and people, artists, see it as a new medium.
Do you think you're pushing the limits of what society considers art?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's many people who would debate with me as to if what I'm doing is even art. But then I guess the question you throw back is, okay, if it's not art, what is it?
Smith's video conferencing art piece is a kind of interactive robot, and her name is Wilma. She is controlled by numbers on a phone pad, so an operator sitting in one location can make Wilma move in any direction somewhere else. The operator can also see Wilma's environment through a camera which sits on the top of the robot's head. Basically, Wilma acts as an interacting substitution for the human form. So it seems the technology explosion over the last decade will alter the way we do business. But it's also changing creative expression. Artists like Graham Smith are forcing a cutting-edge definition of art on the world. For Artbeat, I'm Kate Tavender.
And here's a ferocious story from Paris. An artist has been forced to close his animal-eating show. Huang Yanping show featured live spiders, snakes, scorpions, and toads devouring each other. French authorities closed the show on Tuesday after animal rights activists protested in front of the Pompidou Center where the show was being held. Police say the show violated laws forbidding cruelty to animals, but the artist plans to continue his work. Yanping is now displaying his carnivorous spectacle in photographs. And here's an all-ages animal show you won't want to miss. The Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus is in town, and as reporter Mark Plume points out, it's a show that promises to delight the kid in all of us.
The world's greatest show on earth, the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, has returned to Toronto after a 20-year absence.
Here we are inside the Toronto Sky Dome, where the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus is beginning to set up for tonight's opening show. They're expecting 70,000 people over the next 5 days.
The show's success is often attributed to the elephants, horses, tigers, and of course the clowns. But Nicole Hobby, promotion director for Ringling Brothers, says that this is not the only reason people enjoy the circus.
I think people are, it's curiosity, what can I see, and it's a live form of entertainment. It's different from theater, it's different from a movie, and it's different from going to the zoo. It encompasses all elements, sound, sight, and smell. And I think everybody comes to Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus has got to like it. I mean, it's something you say, that was a great show, it was affordable, we enjoyed ourselves. It's 2.5 hours and it's nonstop. You know, it's a matter of opinion. If you like it, if you love animals, if you like seeing death-defying feats, if you like clowns, then, I mean, we're the show to see.
As you can see, there's a lot of exciting things going on at the circus, and it's not just for kids anymore. Mark Plume reporting for Artbeat News.
And that's it for this week's Artscast. From Massey Hall, I'm Mitch Altman.
Thanks, Mitch. Stay tuned for more with Joanna Tsantsuris. We'll be back right after this.
Equality is a good idea, but shouldn't I get a chance as well?
Just because I'm black, don't make the assumption that I'm a criminal.
It's not wrong to be in love with same-sex partners. After all, we're humans too.
I get angry when people automatically assume I'm on welfare.
Welcome back to Artbeat. Here with me is Toronto-born singer and lyricist Joanna Tsantsuris. She was the lead singer in the band Joanna Inc., which split up in 1991. And since then, she's been trying to make her big break in the music industry, and she's hoping that big break will come with the formation of her all-girl jazz band. Joanna, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You know, it strikes me that the music industry is a really tough industry to break into. Why have you chosen that route? Why have you chosen that career?
I've always loved singing. I've been singing since I was 7 years old. And I feel that you have to do what you love in life, or else why bother? So, you know, you have to try and go for it.
7 years old, in a formal way? You mean you were being trained or you were performing?
No, just performing, you know, at school in choirs and getting solos here and solos there, and you just kind of keep going with it.
Who inspired you in your music?
Oh my. So when you grow up in the 70s and 80s, it's kind of hard to put a finger on any one person. But as soon as I started listening to jazz, definitely people like Ella Fitzgerald and, of course, Billie Holiday. Also more modern jazz singers like Randy Lee, etc. Now I would say I get a lot of inspiration from people like Jan Arden, who, I mean, she's wonderful. And controversial as it may seem, Madonna. So.
Wait a minute. Hold it. Billie Holiday, Madonna.
Well, they're both examples of women who go out and get what they want. So
that's true. I'm a Billie Holiday fan too, and there are some songs
just a little bit different as well, the two of them. So
just a little. So Madonna's inspiration is that she goes out and gets what she wants, but she has a style about her too, and it's a controversial one. So is that something that you're thinking of emulating?
No, no. Just that her drive is fantastic. I mean, she hasn't stopped working since she started, you know, with her first album. So, as controversial as she may seem, I just admire her for her guts and for doing what she wants.
So how do you do that in your own life? How do you
you can't stop.
Keep going.
Yeah, I just don't stop. I don't let obstacles get in my way, and you know, things happen.
Right.
And you just have to keep going.
What are some of those obstacles?
Musicians who drop out of bands, who have too many other commitments. You know, there was a time where my voice wasn't up to speed for a lot of different reasons, and you just have to be patient a lot of the time. You know, never losing sight of what you want to achieve, but you know, wait for it, and you'll get there.
Right. What do you do as a singer to prepare?
For a gig
for your career. What do you do? Do you sing every day? Do you?
Yeah, I personally don't have any formal training, even though I have been singing forever, and that's all it is. Just I sing a lot. I sing every chance I get.
Why not the formal training? Why did you decide not to go with that?
I think when I was younger, I just never thought about it. I never thought of singing as a career. Because I'm also an actor, so that was more where I got my training. But through the acting, I just kept singing, and when I formed my jazz band, all of a sudden it was a very real possibility to actually have a career in the music industry. And by then, I hate to say I knew too much, but I didn't feel comfortable going back in for training, so I got my training from vocal coaches here and there, and that's about it.
You know, I'm wondering to myself, why jazz? Why not something else? Why that genre of music?
Oh, jazz is so fantastic. It has so much passion in it and so much feeling, and jazz is one of the few musical forms where the passion is in the music itself. You almost don't have to put anything into it because the music is constructed in a way that has passion in it already. And I'm a very passionate person when it comes to anything I do, so automatically I felt very drawn to jazz as an art form, as a music form.
Where were you first exposed to jazz?
Just friends, school. I have a lot of friends who are musicians, and they all basically will tell you or who told me, you know, as soon as they got that formal classical stuff out of the way, they hit the jazz world, and you can do whatever you want with a jazz song. You know.
Why did your band end up breaking up in 1991?
Well, my two musicians, my band was comprised of myself and a bass player and a pianist, and they were both still at music school, so they were very busy and basically had too many other commitments, so we didn't have time to, you know, keep it going.
You know, it's kind of interesting to me that I guess someone who's in the category or age category that you are would be drawn to jazz, so I think it's really wonderful that you've chosen and selected that area of music to get involved with. There's never enough time for these things, so I'm just going to, we're going to hop to a commercial, and when we come back, Joanne will be performing for us.